Cardinals, according to reports, want 3, not 2, not 1, 3 first-round picks in order to trade away the number 4 overall, according to this report right now. Let me again preface that so many of these things are conjecture, rumors, speculation. No team's releasing exactly what their game plan is, but this is nice to hear if you're a Cardinal fan, because it looks like they're seeking 3 first-round picks to move down from the number 4 overall. Monty Austin-Fort's made it very abundantly clear that the light is on. The Cardinals are open for business in terms of trading down, and I hate to hear it because the Cardinals are sitting pretty at this number 4 overall pick, where Marvin Harrison Jr. is destined to become paired and matched up with Kyler Murray and create a tandem that is almost unmatched in the NFL. But Monty Austin-Fort is on a mission to see if he can try and get something for the number 4 overall pick that makes him happy and feel joyous on a draft day that's going to make me break something in this studio if we don't get Marvin Harrison Jr. If we don't get Marvin Harrison Jr., I say we because I am a Cardinal fan. I'm here in Arizona. The Cardinals don't get a Doomsday Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. to pair with Kyler Murray, I will absolutely lose it. But this news right here is fantastic because the Cardinals aren't getting 3 first-rounders. That number 4 overall pick is most likely looking like Marvin Harrison Jr. according to this report. We're going to talk about this and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So according to this report and a few others that have surfaced lately, the Cardinals are looking to trade down. Of course, we've heard this before. We heard this from Monty Austin-Fort's mouth. This guy wants to trade down. He loves trading down. He loves accumulating picks. But it does sound like at least his price tag is understandably almost too high. And that's great news if you want MHJ to land in Arizona and catch footballs from Kyler Murray. There is no better place for MHJ or Neighbors or a Doomsday than the Arizona Cardinals. There really isn't. Some might say the Chargers. I completely disagree. I think the Chargers are a good landing spot for whatever wide receiver lands there, no doubt about it. Neighbors goes to the Chargers. He's the clear number 2. If a Doomsday goes to Indy and let's say Neighbors goes to New York, a Doomsday is better. A Doomsday is going to have a better at least year 1, and then we can talk about what happens in New York quarterback-wise in 2025. But landing spot's going to be very dependent on how these guys perform as rookies. And MHJ is probably the most capable of Justin Jefferson, being a Justin Jefferson type situation where he's almost matchup proof to a degree. But even JJ seeing his value in the 6-7 overall range right now because he has no quarterback. And so clearly he's not completely quarterback proof, or he'd still be going 1 or 2 or 3 overall. If JJ had Kirk Cousins back, he'd be number 2 or 3 overall. He'd be number 1 in some people's minds. So clearly JJ isn't completely quarterback proof. But I truly believe the Cardinals are thank God they're trending in the direction of drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. and doing the right thing for this organization. I, again, would only be happy if, and I'm not even completely pleased because I want MHJ in Arizona. And this isn't a Cardinal fandom thing either. I always want what's best for the player and fantasy. I'm very, very good about keeping my bias out of it. And this is truly the best spot for any wide receiver in football. Is Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals. This marriage is perfect. The volume's going to be there. I think Indy's a fantastic place as well for a wide receiver. Hopefully they move up. We're hearing rumblings about Bowers, Odunze, Indy moving up, trying to get into the top 10, potentially to get a wide receiver. How much of that is rumor and conjecture and guesstimation and just people wanting to make a splash and create smoke during smoke season? I don't know. The Chargers, we're hearing a whole bunch of, they could go offensive line. They could trade down. They could go Neighbors. They could go Bowers. I think Bowers is maybe as likely as Neighbors, if not maybe even slightly more likely to go to the Chargers at number 5. I think going offensive line or trading down, the combined of those two options is easily equal to or greater than drafting just Malik Neighbors for the Chargers. I know Charger fans and Herbert fans and Neighbors fans want Neighbors in LAC, but there's a strong opportunity and chance that the Giants end up with Neighbors. Based on the projections and what people are thinking could happen in LAC. Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors, New York Giants, and Rome Odunze wild card. Maybe to a team that trades up. I don't want him going to Chicago, to be honest with you. I don't want him going to Denver without a quarterback. I don't want him going anywhere, but honestly, Atlanta would be interesting for sure. Indy would be my ideal and most favorite landing spot outside of Buffalo. Buffalo trading up for Odunze. Smash. That's the most ideal spot. You can say what you want, young man. You can say what you want. The Buffalo Bills are on a mission to solve their wide receiver room problem. You could say, oh, it's too expensive. They won't do it. Smitty, they don't know what they're doing. I told you that this team was going to trade Diggs. Diggs was a problem. But Smitty is too expensive. The dead cap's crazy. How can they trade Diggs? It's not going to happen. This is absolutely insane. Smitty, they've already come out and said that he's not getting moved. Diggs ain't getting traded. We're hearing the same thing about Ayuk and Higgins, and the Niners already said they're not trading Ayuk. Teams will say whatever they want right now, and what they say right now might be true. They might not want to trade Ayuk in San Francisco. They might not have wanted to trade Diggs out of Buffalo at that moment in time. But things change. And in terms of the Ayuk situation, how far apart are they? Is Lamb going to get his extension or JJ before Ayuk does? And then Ayuk's like, well, my price tag just went up. Even if it's nowhere near what those two guys are getting, it still changes and is affected and is interconnected. I'm telling you right now, Buffalo is going to make a push. I don't know if they get as high enough to get a Odunze or if they settle for a Brian Thomas Jr., a BT. Brian Thomas was him and JD5 and Neighbors, Malik Neighbors, the trio, were on an IG Live. I put it all over earlier. They were on an IG Live talking about this thing over and over and over on a 55-minute live stream. And JD5 continued the entire 55 minutes to say, oh, BT, how is it going to, Brian Thomas Jr., BT, how is it going to feel to shake hands with Josh Allen? Hey, BT, what are you going to do when you catch your first touchdown pass from Josh Allen? Hey, one of these guys, Neighbors or BT, Brian Thomas Jr., is going to end up in Buffalo. Why did JD5 continue to say that? He's maybe speculating. Maybe he's just speculating, clearly. Maybe he has a little bit of inside information, but not a lot. No one can totally know what a team's going to do, and teams sometimes don't even tell the player they're drafting. They're drafting him. Like, let's be real. But how many meetings? How much interest has BT gotten from the Buffalo Bills? How much buzz is there that maybe JD5 knows about? Who knows? All we know is JD5 thinks that BT's going to Buffalo, and that's enough for me. That's enough for me to get excited. That's enough for me to get excited. You should get excited too. Also, though, back on point, Marvin Harrison Jr., Cardinals need to make a move. What are the two most empty wide receiver rooms in the National Football League that have elite quarterbacks? Cardinals, Buffalo Bills. Buffalo? Who's Buffalo have? Nobody. Go get a Odunze. Go get it done. What other team needs a wide receiver that has an elite quarterback but no wide receivers? Arizona Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr., go get it done. I can think of no two better spots than the Buffalo Bills and the Arizona Cardinals for two of these wide receivers. And in the most ideal of ideal situations, we got MHJ going to Arizona, we got Neighbors going to the Chargers, and we got a Dunze going to either the Colts or the Buffalo Bills, and then we are absolutely celebrating to the moon. If such things happen, if things unfold to that degree, can you imagine how amazing it would be? Space Ricky with a $2 hauler. Super chats get immediate attention on this channel moving forward. I'm making a push for that. I'm sorry if I haven't totally thrown a super chat right in front of what I'm talking about. 24 NFL draft is going to be fire. Let's go. Space Ricky to the moon. Appreciate Space Ricky. Drop your super chats if you got them. Immediate attention come down way. 106 of you in here so far. Punch that thumb up button. Appreciate you all being here. What about Bowers then, Smitty? Bowers to the Chargers would be fantastic. Let's say the Buffalo Bills trade up for a Dunze. It's a pipe dream. I get it, but it's a dream that's possible because guess what? The harder component of the two phases of Buffalo Bills getting an Dunze, the harder phase was getting rid of Diggs. That phase is out of the way. So I don't really want to hear that the Buffalo Bills can't trade up for a Dunze. It's too expensive to trade from 28 to 9 overall or 28 to 7 overall or 8 overall. It's too expensive, Smitty. They won't do it. I don't want to hear that because the more problematic phase of this two-part strategy of getting Buffalo into a better, upgraded, younger wide receiver of Diggs was getting rid of Diggs. And they accomplished that part of this absolutely improbable scenario. You say what you want. We've seen mountains moved. We've seen things happen that no one dreamed could happen, like Diggs getting traded. And no one here, including myself, even fathomed the idea that Diggs would have the last 3 years of his contract voided and that he'd be sitting on a 1-year deal immediately after being traded with 4 years on his contract. No one knew that. No one knew that was coming downstream. Nobody, including me. So when somebody says, oh, that won't happen, or this will happen, or Smitty, you're crazy if you think this will happen. No, young man, no. You're the only one that's out of pocket because anything can happen. Otherwise, these crazy things that happen every single year, one of which already occurred, the Diggs situation with the contract, you wouldn't have predicted that to happen. And who would have predicted that the Houston Texans would have been the team that landed Diggs in this unthinkable, unfathomable situation? Nobody. Not to mention on a 1-year deal. Why would Diggs even take away 3 years? That's what a lot of us would have said. He thinks he's going to get more money by going the other direction. Interesting news. Again, not anything that we can say with any certainty, obviously. News is news. Smoke is smoke. Smoke season. NFL draft coverage is NFL draft coverage. A lot of this is just conjecture. A lot of this is just speculation. A lot of this is just fun predicting that gets out of hand and people start reporting it downstream 5 degrees away of separation. They start reporting it as factual information. And so you got to, sometimes we've on the live stream picked apart some of the news, dissected it and reverse engineered it back to an actual crazy statement that didn't even remotely come close to being fact-based or presented as fact or presented in the form that we're seeing it reported. An example and case in point would be that Saquon Barkley to the Patriots. Remember that was a news report where the Patriots were one of like 7 key target landing spots, and then that got 7 degrees of separation away from the original report, and all of a sudden you had Patriot pages everywhere going, Saquon Barkley's target landing spot is now the New England Patriots. And we reverse engineered it we tracked it all the way back, dissected the news all the way back to the originating post, and we saw it live on the show of how that stuff gets passed on. It's like the telephone game. Your mother is going to make meatloaf at 7 p.m. Don't be late. You tell that to the next person. They whisper it in the ear of the next person. 5 people down, it's your mother's meatloaf it made me throw up last night all over the couch. And then you get to the 9th person, and it's like MHJ's getting traded. He's not even on a roster yet. It's crazy. Casio with a $2 hauler. Smitty, to the moon. What would you do as the Giants GM? I draft Penix Jr. Or I get really aggressive and I trade up and I get Penix Jr. hopefully somewhere in here and I take Neighbors. If I'm the Giants, I'm doing things like that. But really, ultimately, if I was in charge of that Giant situation, I would have already traded for Justin Fields and drafted Neighbors or Odunze. Probably drafted Odunze, to be honest. If I was in charge of the Giants, I would have traded for Fields, and I would have given up a 4th or 3rd rounder unconditional if I had to get competitive with that Pittsburgh offer, right? And you promised Fields a starting job too, and so therefore his but I want to go here is going to be I'll go to New York. So Fields going to New York, and you drafted Dunze. That's how you solve that problem. But I'm not a GM, unfortunately, Casio. Appreciate you dropping the $2 hauler. Any other super chats, drop them. Phone lines are open if anybody wants to discuss this topic and more. We are here to do it and do it live. Marvin Harrison Jr., according to this report, that the Cardinals are likely, this is a conjecture, likely seeking 3 first-round picks in order to move down from the number 4 overall. So that would mean 2 first-rounders and the move-down pick. So example of a move-down would be to the Minnesota Vikings 11 and get their 23 and get an additional future first. So 11, 23, 2025 first-rounder for the number 4 overall. That 3 picks would include the move-down pick that the Cardinals are potentially referencing, if this was even referenced at all by anybody within the organization. So that's where we're at this current moment in time. Darren Waller still undecided about whether he wants to retire. Okay. Xavier Worthy, who broke the combine record of 40-yard dash with a 4.21, is visiting with the Cardinals today. Interesting, in case the Cardinals do trade down, they want to have all their I's dotted and T's crossed. They already met with Rome Odunze as well, which if the Cardinals do trade down to that 11 pick in that Minnesota Vikings scenario, they need to make sure they have their I's dotted and T's crossed in terms of what wide receiver they could attack at this 11 pick. Rome Odunze's borderline capable of falling to 11. This guy, Derek, come on, Smitty. Diggs being traded was easy after watching Josh last year playoff game. Really, Smitty? Take a lap. Isn't it funny how people, they act like you're an insane person one moment. Diggs can't be traded. You're absolutely ludicrous. The dead cap's too crazy. They've already said they're not going to trade him, which they did. So it's one moment I'm nuts over here. The next moment I'm nuts because it was so easy to predict over here. Derek's punching me over here. This guy's punching me over here. Derek, everyone in here knows how unlikely that was. So the only come on, Smitty, the only come on is on your side of the table, pal. Let's send you on one more.
Take a lap. Take a lap.
Cardinals want 3 first-round picks. Herschel Walker available. 3 first-round picks, 4th overall seems like a steep price. Exactly. Exactly, Scott. Which is why we're celebrating Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Arizona Cardinals.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
That's what the great news is. That's what we're here for today, Scott. The eclipse came and it went, and then today we were delivered with the changing news, the ever-changing news that the Cardinals want King's ransom times 3, and that just means Marvin Harrison Jr. is likely a Cardinal, which is fantastic. The Bears should trade their last first-round pick. Maybe 3 first-round picks are tripping. Exactly, Jack. They're tripping. Let's go. Marvin Harrison Jr. is an Arizona Cardinal. If this is, in fact, true. Someone says this is a legit source of looking for clicks. I mean, it's coming from the source that I just showed, and a lot of times these sources, even if they've got 200, 300, 400,000 followers on Twitter, they're still looking for a splash. This came from the reporter Armando Salguero. So take that for what it is, being reported by multiple sources, but not by Schefter or Rappaport. So we're digging deeper, but it's certainly out there. McCarthy to Minnesota, maybe. Cardinals basically have the first non-QB pick. If they trade at that, then the Chargers get the number 1 non-QB pick. Exactly. The Cardinals know what they have. Hopefully Monty Ossenfort is able to hold back from just trying to make a deal. I could see Bears trade up for a wide receiver. What are your thoughts, says Matto. I mean, you guys, Matto, I know you're a Bears fan and you want the best for Caleb. You want the most likely scenario of Caleb not falling flat on his face. But you've got Keenan Allen. You've got DJ Moore. The odds of you guys trading up for a wide receiver and looking at that as a position of need versus surrounding him with the best of other talent and filling all the other holes, I believe is probably not number 1 on the Bears' priority list. I think a lot of people are trying to float it out there, but I don't think the Bears feel the same way. Travis says that a good source also said the Patriots are looking for 4 to 5 first rounders to move off the 3. I hope the Patriots just take JD5 maybe. Can you imagine? Look, if they get a move down pick as well and 2 additional first rounders, that's still a king's ransom enough to know that the Patriots are probably not trading out of the 3. They'll consider it, but you'd have to get multiple picks. Derek says, really, Smitty? Really, Derek? Really? You're not even done with your lap. Go run your lap. Making that kind of comment. Everybody here is waiting for you to come back from your lap. Chargers should pick a wide receiver or trade down. They don't need 2 all-pro left tackles, says Prime. Hey, look. You heard Harbaugh talk about line. It's important to him. And he believes it's the most important position. And he may draft a receiver. There's no doubt about it. But if anybody thinks Harbaugh's decision-making is conducive to getting a Neighbors or a Dunze or Marvin Harrison Jr. versus something unorthodox, I don't know. Got traded away Keenan Allen for a ham sandwich. Even though I do believe he's getting to the end. Traded away Keenan Allen for a ham sandwich. And now he's talking offensive line hardcore. And he also didn't bring in Barkley, Josh Jacobs, or Derrick Henry and brought in Gus Edwards, Baltimore Raven. J.K. Dobbins is now the next side piece. Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, I mean, you tell me. You tell me what's more likely. He's going to go to the course and direction that we would go to, or continue on the path of what in the hell is he doing? Much higher likelihood he drafts Bowers than Neighbors, in my opinion. Much higher likelihood. This guy Derek is a trip. Derek, do you overwhelm everyone in your presence, like in general? Okay, Smitty, capital letters. Fields or Wilson, trade right now. Who? First of all, Fields is the starter. I don't care what anybody says, even if it takes till week 4. And number 2, no one's trading. No one's likely trading. Russell Wilson's more likely to be traded. He's the one that has the very little future value. And if an injury happens, something like that, you never know. You never know. Definitely something that could come, I think, downstream a little bit later. Agree. Chargers draft Alt or trade back and draft Bowers. Or they draft Bowers at 5. Because Bowers has kind of like a 5 to 8, 5 to 10 projected draft slot value. So tough to know. Tough to know. I really want Bowers with the Chargers. Matt O says I would definitely like that. I think that'd be good. It seems more fitting. Like if you sat down with Harbaugh and said, "Hey, who's the best wide receiver in the entire NFL draft?" based on his responses with the quarterback situation. Who's the best quarterback? MHJ. not JD5? No, MHJ. Not Penix Jr.? No. I'm sorry. Not MHJ. JJM. JJM's the top quarterback in this draft class. Not Penix Jr., not JD5, or Caleb, who I don't think is. I like JJ McCarthy better than Caleb at this point. But no, Harbaugh's answer is JJ McCarthy. Does anybody think that his answer would be, could it be? Might it be? Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr., but Roman Wilson's right there. Like, if anybody thinks this guy isn't more interested in drafting Bowers and then Roman Wilson later, which isn't like the dumbest move, I'm just saying that's not what everybody wants. That's what he wants. He wants things like that. Harbaugh doesn't want things that you and I want. He doesn't want the flashy car. He wants the reliable family truckster that's going to go 300,000 miles, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just Harbaugh's a little bit different breed. And I think everything he's done so far, from not filling the running back room with an elite running back and going with Gus Bus, not likely looking to be a lock to draft Neighbors, those are all things we would do. Harbaugh's walking to the beat of his own drum. Harbaugh will probably doesn't want a big time wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, he feels like the kind of guy that wouldn't, but Roman Wilson isn't an alpha. Jeff, he is to Harbaugh. That's what we're trying to tell you, Jeff. It's not what you think. Jeff, you think he's not an alpha. And I think he's not an alpha. But he doesn't believe that. He believes Roman Wilson's an alpha dog, bro. Times 2 on steroids. That's what he thinks. And that's what you got to get into your head, that you're not Harbaugh. Neighbors sounds so obvious to you. So obvious to you. Derek, I'm not even reading your comments anymore. You make no sense. It's not even worth putting on the screen. He'd be stupid to rely on Wilson with Palmer and Brick Hands Johnston. Jeff, would he be stupid to bring in Gus Bus and not go get Barkley, Henry, or Jacobs? Answer that question, Jeff. That's what I'm saying. Notice the trending that's going on. What trend have you noticed with Harbaugh? He doesn't think about it like you and I think about it. He doesn't try to solve a problem with the biggest name player. He wants that team-oriented thing. Harbaugh will move up to take Roman Wilson. Maybe. Maybe. You imagine when JJM's sitting there and he's like, damn it. Get Minnesota on the phone. Minnesota, we're going to go ahead and send you Herbert for the 11-23. Get it done. The Chargers have selected J.J. McCarthy. Brees or Gibbs, very, very, very arguable. Gibbs has a lower ADP, not saying that's right or wrong, but Brees is going like 4, 5, 6. Gibbs is going like 7, 8, 9. So you're going to find most people, here's one comment already, that are going to say Brees Hall, and that's because his ADP's indicating that. I'd love Dallas drafting Benson. Definitely. Benson or Jalen Wright. I think Jalen Wright's the best rookie running back in this class. Benson's pretty damn good too. I think either one becomes better than the other the moment they land in Dallas, because Dallas is really the only obvious running back landing spot that could turn one of these good running backs, not great. It's a good running back class, not a great running back class by any means. There's no real great player in it. But Jalen Wright could turn from good to great in a great environment. So, you know, that's what we're hoping for. The Dallas turns a good running back into a deceptively great. You know, situation can turn a player into something a lot bigger than he is. You know, Jalen Wright is one of the more amazingly equipped running backs in this class, at least. His first 10 yards on his 40-yard dash were the fastest in the entire combine, which means he can hit the hole quicker than any running back in this draft class. Jalen Wright has a lot of the skill sets and metrics that make you think, okay, this guy actually he had a really good combine. I really like him. Braylon Allen, maybe he looks slower, you know, in some aspects of his game, but I think he gets quicker at the NFL level, works on his speed, and he's the big body. He's the biggest running back, the bruising back, the bully back of this running back class. So him, Braylon Allen, in Dallas would be fantastic. Dude, let's see here. Benson is so explosive, says TM42. I like him. He just needs the landing spot. All these guys just need the landing spot. Once the landing spots are handed out, we've got a real possibility on our hands of having somebody to talk about. Right now, we talk about rookie players, and we're like, who's 1, who's 2, who's 3? And you get past the top 3 wide receivers, and now you're talking about Brian Thomas Jr. as the fantasy football rookie number 4, or Bowers. You're not talking running back yet. We're not talking running back till we get to like pick 6, 7. And even that, we're talking about it on spec. You know, we're not even talking about it on like, oh, we're guaranteed to have Benson at number 6 overall, or we're guaranteed to have, you know, Blake Corum, who I don't even love at the NFL level, or we're guaranteed to have this or guaranteed to have that. We're not guaranteed nothing at the running back position. So we're only guaranteed maybe the prospect of a Dallas Cowboy rookie running back being 6 worthy in a rookie only draft. But the moment, thank you, Rusty, appreciate you being here. The moment we get a landing spot, a Dallas Cowboy rookie running back landing spot, now we have something to kick around, something tangible. And so if it's Braylon Allen or Trey Benson or whoever, then now all of a sudden, you know, we're talking about it. Why are people sleeping on Marshawn Lloyd? Lloyd would be great there, but why are we sleeping on Marshawn Lloyd? Because he's in the middle of a very mediocre running back class, bro. The entire running back class is going to be, and rightfully so, slept on. Because it's not a great running back class. Do I like him? Sure. What are your thoughts on Ladd McConkey, Malachi Corley, and Leggett? You must be new. Well, you're not new here, MCF. You just haven't been watching. Your boy had Malachi Corley and Leggett higher than anybody you could find in the history of the planet. So when I did my early wide receiver rankings, they came in at wide receiver 5 and 6. I had Malachi Corley at 5. I had Leggett at number 6. Everybody seems to be catching on to Leggett. Everybody seems to be liking Malachi Corley a lot. Lad McConkey's right there. But also Ricky Parasol is right in this mix. My boy, right in this mix. Neighbors is a diva, says TM42. No, or you're asking the question. No, he addressed that. He laughed at that. There's a reporter or a scout, it was one man that said that, he could struggle in a big city and he's the one diva wide receiver of the top three. But they all kind of laughed when JD5, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr., BT, were on that live stream. They were joking around and saying, I guess they picked Neighbors. They've always picked somebody to complain about in the draft, call him a diva, and Neighbors was laughing about it. Neighbors seems like a good kid. I don't necessarily agree with the diva comment. That guy reported it. Other people reported on it, but doesn't mean that we reported it and said it was true. We actually came in and said, what's this one guy's opinion? Does it affect his value? Maybe. 133 in here, 171 total, but only 44 thumbs up. Punch that thumb up button. Leggett has proven he can be the alpha. Absolutely, Jeff. Love him. Haven't been watching a lot going on, relaxing before doing all my real prep this year. We'll get to it, pal. We got replays for a reason. You can listen to this show on your drive home. Also, every show's on Spotify. Do it live. Okay, LSU wide receiver diva. No, says MCF. Legett's a monster. Rusty says 133 on YouTube in here and only 44 thumbs up. Hit that thumb up button. 47 thumbs up now. 47 thumbs up. Punch it. Do it live. I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do, but I'm very, very hopeful that Monty does not trade away this number 4 overall. What's your favorite way to pick a draft order? Random through the system. I'm not into this whole horse racing for your draft order or whatever. But definitely feel like I could roll with whatever, but I'm definitely one of those people. I just set it myself as a commissioner. If I'm ever commissioning anything, I just set it random. That way there's no controversy. System posts it right there. Everybody sees it. I'm not a fan of doing it 3 times. This stupid thing of the draft order gets announced, then it gets announced again, and you're like, what? What did you not like it the first time? If a commissioner posts a draft order and then does it again, they should be ousted from the commissioner job. That is a very corrupt thing. You don't do the draft order multiple times. You do it one time. That clearly shows you're unhappy with it. You still love your Cardinals. What do you like to see them do at the number 4 in a perfect world? RCT made it abundantly clear this entire 40-minute live stream that that I want him to go Marvin Harrison Jr., my guy. Absolutely. But if Monty does trade down, this is something I say pretty much every live stream as well. If they do trade down, let's say to 11 or 7 or whatever, if they trade down, they got to get a Doomsday or Neighbors or at least Brian Thomas Jr. Or I'm breaking something in here if they don't get one of the big 3 wide receivers on draft day. And I'll be live the entire first round of the draft. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. MHJ would also be, what's this saying? Thunder says MHJ would also put the Cardinals back on the NFL news map, sell tickets and jerseys, just take them exactly. And I think Monty's kind of thinking that. But, yeah, RCT, love me some Marvin Harrison Jr., my guy. It's a good question, though. The teams in the toilet bowl the year prior get first through fourth picks. If you're talking about rookie picks, yeah, I mean, you don't do the rookie picks at random. That's an obvious. You go in terms of the worst teams. I'm not into the lottery stuff as a commissioner because it's too much work for me. And I don't really like that anyway. I think you get last, but you got to have. It's better to go by that rank in the standings. It's like best projected record or whatever. That way, someone can't take a dive. That the standings actually correct it for you by giving you the adjusted. Someone like starting the wrong team that adjusts it for you. Because some people will take a dive, they'll take a dive on purpose. So I don't mind that at all. Do you feel? Let's see. There's hope for Bowers. Mr. Bakeslot wants to know if there's hope for Bowers. Bowers might be the best tight end prospect to ever come out of college. So is there hope for Bowers? You know there's hope for Bowers, bro.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
He's on the Mars men. What do you mean is there hope for Bowers? Guy's probably the number 1 or number 2 tight end in 1.5 calendar years, if not 1 calendar year. I've been seeing reports of Arizona trading with Minnesota and using the 11 pick to get Jared. I mean, there's going to be projections and guesstimations, but according to the report we have on screen right now, it's going to take the 11, 23, and a 2025 first rounder for the 4. So if that's the case, then the Cardinals are probably not getting that. And thank God, because then they're getting Marvin Harrison Jr. And then we celebrate. And Smitty approved Marvin Harrison Jr. So good news is the Cardinals apparently want 3 first rounders. That's good. That's fine by me. Because then they're not getting it. Derek says, Smitty, why you gotta diss me? I think you're awesome. Because I'm not dissing you. You're all over the place, Derek. One moment you're saying one thing. The next moment you're like, Smitty, I love you. The next minute you're like, Smitty, can't believe you think this. The next moment, Smitty, I think you're awesome. Derek, it's fine. I like you too, pal. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. But the comment you made earlier, we sent you on a lap. Because it was lap worthy. You came in trying to somehow flex on that me predicting Diggs to get traded was not bold. And Derek, that was a really bad statement because it was laughable. So I sent you on a lap. That's all there is to it. Like, toughen up, Buttercup. It's fine. You'll be okay. Move forward. But you're attention seeking. Like, just mingle in the community. Stop trying to do whatever you're trying to do, Derek. 3 first rounders for the 4 pick. LOL, looks like they're staying put. That's exactly what I'm saying. Sag, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a Cardinal.
You've just been Smitty.
I don't mind Derek, but Derek's just got to calm down a little bit, or he's just going to get ignored for a little bit because it's too much. It's like ADHD times 10. And when someone uses the capitals the way they do, they spend the time to hit the caps lock, type my name, hit the uncaps lock. It's like I just see him in the basement, as he's typing. Caps lock. Uncaps lock. Caps lock. Smitty. Because the system is Georgia. They use him like a wide receiver. But it's been hard for those tight ends to translate to the NFL. A la Ingram, Pitts, Bowers. Yeah, but bro, we made it. We know for a fact that Kyle Pitts translated already. He had one of the best rookie tight end seasons in the history of the NFL. He was misused. So I'd take that example right out. I'm not worried about it at all. Plus, everything is case-by-case basis to me, Bakes a lot. Bauer, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what your stat says. I don't care what Bob told you in an article where Bob said, Georgia, tight ends don't I don't care. I don't care about Ohio State quarterbacks or that he's an LSU wide receiver. Like, all those things can be factored in, but there are outliers, and I'm not worried one single bit about where he played, clearly systems. Look, the college system, no matter what, the college players stepping into the NFL is so far differently than they used to 4 years ago. The game is quicker. The players are more advanced. They're up to speed. They're NFL ready. And while the tight end position is still a little bit behind the wide receiver position, meaning that your rookie year as a tight end, there are some ups and downs. Look at Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave clearly, at least a fraction of Laporta he could be. And he gets injured. He doesn't. There's a lot of reasons to believe that Musgrave could have that huge breakout year, in my opinion. His metrics are through the roof. Michael Mayer as well, rookie year, just bland. Rookie tight ends, other than Laporta, they kind of fall flat, and then they come in their second year. I'm 100% sold on Bowers. I'm not worried at all, bro. It's not even on my mind. What's up? Top of the morning to you too, Perps. And I don't know if you've heard the good news, Perps, but the Cardinals are looking for 3 first-rounders, according to this report and a couple other reports, for the number 4 overall, which means Marvin Harrison Jr. ain't going anywhere, and he's going to be an Arizona Cardinal.
You've just been Smitty approved.
You hear the good news? Falcons got London Pitts. Falcons need offensive line or defense with that pick, says Derek. I mean, the other thing, too, is their offensive line is going to be a whole lot better just on the mere presence of Kirk Cousins. And the same thing goes for the Jets. Everybody ripping on the Jets offensive line. Like, number one, they've made some moves. But number two, Aaron Rodgers under center has a different result immediately. Like, immediately. People judge an offensive line off of a previous season where they have quarterback carousels, and it's just ridiculous. Like, the Jets are going to be fine. Breece Hall is a top 4 running back for a reason. People are out of their minds with that. I think Buffalo trades up for a wide receiver. We're hoping, TM. We're hoping. Falcons need a right tackle. Their line is pretty solid, says MCF. Yeah, I don't know what these comments are about the offensive line. I don't get that. I don't get that. Atlanta is going with another wide receiver. Isn't going with another wide receiver. They might not, but if Neighbors were there, bro, maybe they pass on a Dunze. I wouldn't. It's generational, bro. But I don't think they're gonna pass on Neighbors if he's there, but they could. I mean, I'd say it's like 40% chance they don't pass on Neighbors. It's not a super high likelihood. Nate in the building. Appreciate you, Nate. I think Buffalo trades up for a wide receiver. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Absolutely, my guy. Jeff says every team that gave up 3 first-rounders ended up regretting it. Ain't that the truth, bro? Ain't that the truth? Plus, it's not like the Cardinals have a top 3 pick. I'm not saying the 4 pick isn't great, and they get the... It's literally like Harbaugh said, and like other people have said, especially on this live stream, have said, it's kind of like you have the first pick in the draft that's non-quarterback, right? Or you have the 4th quarterback. But the team that's trading up to get this pick, the team that's getting this 4 pick is getting a quarterback. So they're not trading up for Marvin Harrison Jr. Most likely. 80% likely chance the team that trades and sells the farm would only do it for a quarterback. If let's say the Denver Broncos thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was the best thing in the world, or better, yeah. But let's use the 9 pick. Let's say the Chicago Bears wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. they're plenty happy with Neighbors or Dunze without giving up the farm. 2 additional first-round picks and the 9 pick, 3 first-round picks. They're not doing it. The only team that's going to give up 3 first-round picks, they're probably still not going to. But if they were, it would be, if someone was going to overpay, it would be for a quarterback. It's the only time you do that. And as mentioned, a lot of times it fails. But this 4 pick is just, that fourth quarterback, I don't know that anybody's going to feel that it's worth it. And if they did, it's going to be a huge mistake, which is why the Cardinals are most likely getting Marvin Harrison Jr. because what team's going to give up 3 first-rounders? That's the whole point. I know a lot of people are going to come in here and say, Smitty, there's no way they're getting, like, as if this is my, like, this is my request or my price tag. This is the news. And we're here to tell you the Cardinals are most likely not getting this, so Marvin Harrison Jr. is an Arizona Cardinal, but I don't know. Which is Smitty approved, by the way. Marvin Harrison Jr., Arizona Cardinal, but people are going to think what they want. They're not going to either watch or they're just going to read the headline and make a comment, and that's fine. Agree, 3 first-rounders. Anything you don't consider a franchise QB is insane. It's insane to do it for it's insane to do it for the 4th QB too, though, is my point. Whatever the wide receiver the Giants pick up will not be on my fantasy roster this season, says RCT. I'm afraid that's going to be Neighbors, bro. I think Neighbors owners are going to be unhappy, or they're going to justify it. Remember when the Falcons gave up the haul to get Julio Jones? Yeah, Eddie. KC never gave up anything to get the GOAT. Think about that one for a second, says Jeff. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Smitty, are you going to do a Graveyard Dynasty show? Probably tonight. Probably tonight, bro. This is almost too long here, Bakes a lot, but I'm gonna post it for you here. Traded Kendre Miller, Devon Achane, Will Levis at a 24, 1.7, and 2.2 and 2.4 for Bijan, Algier, Pickett, I've Hurts. I'm fine with that. I think Bijan, I love Achane, but I think Bijan's good enough for that. That's fine. Garrett Wilson still bald with Zach. Neighbors could be a target monster with the Giants. Says a perspective or already Neighbors owner. I mean, nobody wants him in New York, bro. That's like a huge nutsack kick. At least for year 1. Like, could he survive? Yeah. Do you want Neighbors to survive? No. Like, Neighbors is getting you 3 or 4 touchdowns in New York, and maybe he gets the yardage that you kind of want. But he's not going to be... He goes to the Chargers, he gets you 9 to 12 touchdowns. Like, it's night and day difference, though. Do you think McCarthy is worth the recent hype? No, I do not. Any Smitty world videos coming out? Yeah, rock out. I'm working on that part 2, episode 2. Non-Neighbors owners. Just perspective, yeah. Neighbors in New York would not be good. Dunze in New York won't be good. I mean, I still love them, but you have to reset your 2024 expectation. If Dabo survives and they get the right quarterback in there the next year, then it could work out really well. But, like, there's a lot of moving parts there. You get your Bijan card back, Mr. Bakes-a-lot? I guess we could give you your card back. I don't know what you did to get it taken away, so you're lucky I forget. But, yeah, you traded for him. You gave the haul up for him. That's fine. You can have your Bijan card back. Only ones that like that are the Giants fans. The neighbors to the Giants? Yeah, probably. All right, guys. Appreciate you all being in here. Hit that thumb up button on the way out the door. We'll be back for more breaking news as it happens. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like he's going to be a Cardinal. If this report is true that the Cardinals want 3 first-rounders for the number 4 overall, I don't think anybody's going to pay that, and that excites me.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Monty, stick to your guns. Marvin Harrison Jr., make it happen. We'll see you all later. Thank you for my super chats. TM42. Did I get to this already, TM? I love Dallas drafting Benson. If not, if I didn't get to that yet, I apologize. But yeah, Dallas drafting Benson. Dallas drafting Braylon Allen. Dallas drafting Jalen Wright. I don't want Blake Corum, but like whoever lands there, if it's Benson, Benson's gonna be the number 1 rookie running back, and then he vaults into the 5-6 overall rookie mock draft territory for rookies only. Thank you, TM. TM to the moon. To the moon, son. Thank you, Space Ricky and Casio, for the other super chats, and thank you all for your support. Nice job on your lap there, Derek. Nice job on your lap. Marv is a Cardinal. Bank on it, says DeBalt. Let's hope. Later, Cam. Thank you to my mod crew. First in the building tonight was Matt O, followed by Brandon, followed by Kilpatrick, followed by Brendan, followed by Brian, and followed by Jeb, followed by Daniel, Sean, Space Ricky, DeBalt. I think I said Matt O already. Joe, Juicebox, James Young, Tony from IG, Jeff T, Tom Jones. See you all later. Hit that like button on the way out the door. Later, Derek. Later, OEG. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. So that's later tonight, but we'll probably be live, I imagine, before that. And live, because we're live when big news breaks. All right, later, Rusty. Appreciate you. Deuces.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.